Okay, good morning, everyone. Good morning. My name is Matt Marchand. I'm the President and CEO of Windsor-Essex Regional Chamber of Commerce, and I want to welcome you to the first ever Policy and Solutions Forum that we put together in our community. Before I begin, I want to acknowledge a few people that are here. Former past chair of our Finance and Tax Committee, Robert Ray, is here, served with me on the board of directors and also on the board. Thanks for all your leadership, Robert, and we miss you. I also want to acknowledge board members that are here today. David Deemer, I saw David here. Where's David? There you are, David. Thank you. Janice Forsyth, our incoming chair. Janice, thanks for coming. And our chair, Carolyn Brown, of course. Big hand for Carolyn, just to put up with me. And I also see Helga Rydell. There you are. And I saw Tom Bay, the mayor of Kingsville. There you are, Tom. Yeah, I know, it's okay, you got here. And Mayor McNamara, I saw Gary McNamara here, so there you go. Thanks, Gary. So the purpose of what we're going to do today is we're going to address key member issues and provide ideas and solutions for decision makers. This is the first ever coming together of business, labor, and academia in a nonpartisan way to bring ideas into our community. And hopefully today's events will provide some ideas and solutions to this region and to the province and province-wide. But I want to really thank, and there's so many of these sponsors to make this event happen today. Our presenting sponsor, University of Windsor, Alan, really we couldn't have done it without you. Thank you for everything, your support, outstanding work. Dino Kyoto and our gold sponsor, Local 444, Dino, thank you. Outstanding leadership on your side. Our Detroit Windsor Tunnel, Carolyn, thank you for your support. Continental Rail Gateway, I saw Mike over here earlier. There you are, Mike. CF Foods, Coley, is Coley? Okay. Clark's, Enwin, I saw Max Aliff here. Essex Power and Hydro One. Our new Canadian Centers of Excellence. Shilby Reeton LLP Law Firm. PricewaterhouseCoopers. Caesars Windsor. Caesars, thank you very much for putting up the guest last night. At Caesars Windsor, outstanding. Port Airlines for sponsoring the flights in for some of our speakers today. Workforce Essex Windsor, Tanya, thank you. And finally, a big thank you to CF Greenhouses, Westmoreland Sales, Top Line Produce, Sunbright Candy, and Unico for providing flowers, greenhouse, vegetable gift packs, and canned goods for today's moderators and presenters. So I want to thank all the sponsors for all of your support. Outstanding. We could not have done this without you. So give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you very much. It's my privilege to welcome our presenting sponsor, Dr. Alan Wildeman, President and Vice Chancellor of the University of Windsor.
Thank you, Matt, and welcome all of you. I feel as if I have the opportunity to say a few words at the beginning as a sponsor, but I think all of the people and all the organizations that Matt listed off as contributing to helping to make this event happen can equally be up here saying some words. And I want to thank all of you for coming together to be a part of this. And certainly Windsor-Essex has all the pieces to have the right kind of dialogue about these really important issues that we want to talk about today. And having the chamber involved, pulling together everybody in this and that, the one person you didn't acknowledge was yourself. And I know what it's like to try to choreograph a lot of really, really busy people and to try to pull this together. So thank you very much, Matt, and all your staff. And then I'm going to say a big round for your staff, or even louder applause for the staff.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, obviously, there's all sorts of issues and challenges and opportunities out there right now. And I as the rain was pelting down on me this morning, as it was on everybody, I don't think anyone can escape the rain. That's one of the great equalizers in life is getting wet. I was thinking about ideas and solutions to the challenges that we face, and sometimes they come from above, but also water can come from below and spring out of the ground. And I think we just have to really embrace the fact that good ideas and solutions can come from anywhere. They can come from government, from public policy decisions. They can come from dialogue such as this, and everyone who's really engaged in trying to make a difference could really be contributing to the great ideas that we need to come up with ways forward and come up with the best ideas that people can embrace. So I just again I want to say that the University of Windsor was a great opportunity for us to be involved in this, and again, just from the university's perspective, I'm speaking here on behalf of a whole bunch of people who did a lot of the work in the upper Office of Research Services, Odette School of Business, and others, and they really deserve all the credit for the university's contributions to this. And across Windsor-Essex, the academic sector, the university, St. Clair College, I see John Strasser here, the Chamber, Labour, Dino, I see you back there somewhere. I think I noticed you. All very, very important, and obviously the business sector. So have a great day, and thank you for the opportunity to say a few words now.
And Alan, appreciate all your support and all your leadership in our community. Thank you very much. Outstanding. Is Alan Odette? Sure you are. Alan Odette is our Ontario Chamber President, and recently the Windsor-Essex Chamber was awarded, we won 2 awards recently for single sports betting. The reason why we won these awards is because of the leadership of Alan Odette. I was talking with Dino earlier, without Alan's support and his leadership supporting single sports betting at a time when the casino issue was hot in Toronto, took a lot of leadership. I know he took a couple arrows for our community, Alan. The Windsor-Essex Chamber thanks you for your leadership. Alan's been a great leader for us. Really raised the bar at Ontario Chamber. I don't think I can say enough positive and glowing remarks about Alan Odette, but we're glad to have him. We're lucky to have him. So come on over, Alan, say a few words, and thanks again for coming.
Before I took on that casino issue, I was 5'11". Can anybody even see me behind this podium? Can I stand at this?
Yeah, sure.
Or can we put this on?
Yeah,
I'll do this. So good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. They're probably not going to let me move with that. But if I stand behind here, nobody's going to be able to see me. All right, that's fine. We'll do that. So good morning. It's a pleasure to be here. I was just saying to colleagues at my table, I drove down here in the worst torrential rainstorm last night. Got a flat tire, and so it was quite an ordeal. But I'm pleased to be here. And when I look into a room like this and see some diversity and people up early, then I see signs of a community that's going to pull together and work. And I do want to acknowledge Charlene Brown for her volunteerism as chair of the board down here. Alan, who was just up, was actually on my board. And what I'm going to talk about today, Alan played a big role in helping us develop. But Alan, you commented about Matt. I came down here because of Matt. You guys are lucky to have this young guy, I call myself this, leading your organization, because it takes energy, passion, and commitment to run a chamber these days. And what we're trying to do is modernize it. For those of you who don't know, there are about 160 chambers of commerce and boards of trade around the province. We have about 60,000 members. That represents roughly 2.5 million employees. And what we're trying to do is fundamentally transform the chamber and board movement around the province so that, frankly, we can take back some of the agenda. I had an opportunity just in summary only to speak with Barry McKenna from the Globe and Mail this morning. And what we've seen take place, not just in recent days, recent months, and recent years, but is really the politicization of so much of our public policy. And when you politicize public policy, you make poor decisions. And really what I want to talk to you about in summary only this morning is taking some of the politics out of public policy. So to that end, the Ontario Chamber of Commerce, along with some partners at ISPOS and the University of Toronto, created a 5-year platform titled Emerging Stronger. It's sitting on your table. I won't go into the detail other than I've come from 30 years in the private sector, largely working in biotech and biopharma here in Ontario, in the United States, and Europe. And one of the things that I've learned how to do is write strategy and implement strategy. So what this is a collective of work largely completed by about 300 CEOs from small, medium, large enterprise the presidents of roughly 6 Ontario universities, about 7 colleges, and a number of NGOs. And there's 5 key components in it I ask you to keep in mind. So we're in year 3 of this, so you'll see that the 3 political parties have been co-opted. They've signed off on it, they've agreed to it. The 5 key areas we're able now to report against the progress we've made in the last couple of years, what remain as key challenges, and where we need to go next. So number 1 is about embracing innovation and smart risk-taking to drive productivity. Depending on how you measure it, productivity is our current best way of understanding what our future wealth will be. And Ontario's productivity has fallen to the bottom of the class, from the top of the class, whether you view that through the lens of G8 or G20 nations. We have to learn how to take some risk and put ourselves out there a little bit. That's going to take a generation to do, but that is a significant area of focus for us. Number 2 of 5 is about creating a 21st century workforce through workplace training, leveraging newcomer skills, and apprenticeship reform. The couple of key messages I deliver when I'm in communities is, number 1, if you're waiting for government to reinvent your community, with due respect to the politicians in the room, you're going to be waiting a long time. Leadership has to come from rooms like this. People like you, look in the mirror, look beside you, and take back your communities and the agenda. Number 2 is you have to pull next generation over it. If I walk into a room and I don't see next generation, I can tell you a community that's not going to be very successful in the future. So whether it's your hospital boards, your libraries, your businesses, pull next gen over to the table. And the third area, frankly, is about newcomers. You have to find a way of embracing newcomers. When you walk into a room like this and somebody sort of grabs you by the elbow and introduces you, how does that make you feel? Versus walking into a room and not feeling welcome. We need to embrace newcomers. We need them to drive Ontario. 3 of 5 is about restoring fiscal balance by improving the way in which government works. I'm not here to bash government, and this plan is largely not about cutting expenses. It's about growing the top line. Anybody who has had responsibility for a balance sheet knows you can make your half, you can make your year if you cut expenses. But your business won't grow in years 2, 3, and 4 if you don't figure out how to grow the top line. And that's really what this is all about. An example of that is alternative service delivery. The Ontario Chamber took over a small program from the Ontario government a couple of years back. Roughly $3 million we dispersed last year to about 600 firms to teach them how to export. We've turned that into $174 million in export contracts for those firms. And we're going to continue with that. We're going to triple that business over the next couple of years. Number 4 of 5 is about export. In our lifetime, there's no big companies coming to Ontario. So we need to acknowledge and figure that out. What we're going to have to do is teach small to medium-sized enterprise how to become big companies. We're going to have to teach those companies how to export. And a big part of that transformation is next generation and helping them walk out of school and create businesses and teach the current businesses, the small to medium enterprise, how to export. Number 5, and I'll close up on this, Matt, is, and I don't say this lightly, but we are a relative rounding error to the world. So in a world that is moving so quickly and is so big, we need to figure out what is our strategic competitive advantage in that world. And there are lots of things. If you look at some of the work that we've been doing, investing in ring of fire research in Northern Ontario, and a whole host of other things. Ontario and Windsor is positioned to be successful in the 21st century. But we're going to have to figure out how we work together. And I'll close on this note, because as I look around the room, Matt, the fact that you've pulled together academia, business, I think there's a few NGOs, and labor is here. We're all in this together, and I only remind you that together we can be a heck of a lot stronger than we are apart. So I encourage you to continue trying to work together, and if it's going to happen, it's going to happen in communities that pull together just like this. So I wish you well up here for the morning, and again, Matt, thanks for pulling this together.
Thank you, Alan. Come on for a few words.
I'm a little taller, so you'll probably be able to see me better. But no, what I'd like to do, obviously, is first off thank the Chamber. I'd like to thank the staff of the Chamber for the wonderful job pulling this together, reaching out to the different organizations to really make this successful. And it's important to have sponsors come together to be able to provide what's necessary to make this happen. So thanks to everyone that participated. And from that, I look forward to a lot of discussion. We've been talking I've been talking as president of the Windsor District Labor Council over the last number of years, suggesting that it was about bringing people to the table, talking about the issues that are important to us, and how we together move forward in a positive light. Again, we sometimes don't agree with ourselves, even though we have some of the same beliefs, but it's important to at least discuss the issues that we're working through and how we can achieve our task and goal at the end of the day. And it's about this community. It's about our organizations. It's about making sure that we can bring jobs to the community, but at the same time, make sure that those businesses can organize and work the way they need to in order to make profits and succeed. So again, it's an all-encompassing vision that we're trying to work through. And from that perspective, it's not easy. But you can't do it without that communication. And this is one of the forums that I thought was great when Matt brought it up, to be able to start bringing people together, talking about everything that we talk about normally. And our only challenge is we're on islands, whether it be labor, sometimes business, academia, with regards to how we can achieve that. And I think that this is a great start to an excellent future and moving in the right direction. And just to give an example of that, I wanted to bring up C290, single game sports betting. That's one of the components where we found some common ground, and it gives us an opportunity to really look at more in-depth items, just like C290, and how we can build on that. And from that perspective, I just wanted to touch on something that you probably all don't know about, but it's an organization that really started through labor, but with business involvement, and it's called CGAT, Chrysler Group Auto Transport. And it's the first of its kind in North America through an OEM. And it's Chrysler Corporation basically having an auto hauler that works and is directly connected to them. It doesn't happen anyplace else. There's one organization that does it in Europe, but other than that, it doesn't exist. And that happened through labor, putting a business case together, putting a benchmark program together that could break into the industry, really bringing positive gains back to the corporation. And from that perspective, it provides decent paying jobs for people in this community, and it created 70 brand new jobs in that. So again, it's a matter of opening our eyes. It's a matter of sitting down at the table and talking about the issues that are important to each and every one of us, and that's really making this community better. So again, Matt, I thank you very much for the work that you've done. I thank everybody for participating, the sponsors as well, and I look forward to the wonderful speakers that we're going to have today, and hopefully come up with some great solutions to make everything better in this community especially. Thank you.
And finally, can I thank you for all your leadership in our community. We really couldn't have done this without you. So keep on doing again what you're doing, outstanding work. And finally, can I call up Dr. Alan Conway from the Dean of the Odette School of Business, and for just a few words, and then we'll get started. Thanks.
Thanks, Matt, for all of your leadership in putting this together. I think it's a very important initiative. And for all the people that worked with you to make this happen. Dino, you're very brave being up here on the list of Allens, and I think that's a good thing. And of course, Alan Odette, I was mentioning to Alan this morning that since I come from the Odette School of Business, it's kind of interesting to have Alan here today. It's great to have you here on business as well. One of the things I'd like to say is that even though, as Alan said, we need the next generation here, and we don't have students here, one of the reasons we don't is because they're either all working or they're all in class. But when it comes to doing a number of things that we're going to be doing to move this, this region forward, and this is already true, there will be a number of student groups involved. And we welcome the opportunity to do that, and we continue to do that, and we've got, I'll just point out, since we've got a number of the key players from the university's entrepreneurship group, Epicenter, that have done wonderful work in the community with entrepreneurs and with other organizations. So with Dr. Schlosser, Wintio, Heather Crack, there will be a lot of involvement, and we welcome that. In fact, in 2 weeks from this morning, if we ignore the time change, I'll be in Beijing speaking to a couple of hundred leaders of all of the different regions across China about their economic development. And as I did some review, because they're very interested, China, in developing their services trades, and then the region's getting much better. And it's a big challenge for them. I won't go into that today, why it's a big challenge. You can imagine some of the reasons. But as I was doing some thinking and looking at some regions in North America that I've been involved in over time, especially in the services area, one of the things that was striking, and I knew this from experience at some level, but it was very striking in the review, is the role of post-secondary institutions in the kinds of things that I was going to be talking about in a couple of weeks in China. And so I had to make a sort of a note of how to build that in. And as I say, post-secondary, of course, yes, universities, but also colleges. So in our case, St. Clair is an important player and will be an important player in terms of what happens here. So the other thing I'll be doing, because of what I have to do in 2 weeks, I'll be taking a lot of notes today that I can share. But like I say, the ambitions and the challenges for China right now are not about creating export trade, but actually about creating internal services and consumption. So it's a very different kind of challenge for them at this time. But I'm really looking forward to today, and all of the speakers that have come. And thank you for volunteering your time. And with that, Matt, I'll turn it over to you and look forward to the rest of the day.